Right. So what is your purpose? Begin by answering these 10 beautiful questions. A couple of things that you need to know is towards the end of the webinar, I will share with you the PDF slides so that you have them of this presentation. The other thing is that you may ask questions towards the end using the chat feature. And if you are here for extra credit, at the end of the webinar, you will have the opportunity to submit your name, your class or program that you are here for, and then I will verify with them that you are here. Yeah, so if you have any questions as we're going through this, please write them down as you're thinking about them, and we'll review them later.
Also, before you start, Aracely, everybody, there is a link to the Padlet that we're going to be using in this webinar, and it's in the chat, which you could copy and paste into your browser right now so that you could pull that up and it would be ready to go when we're going to use it after a while. Thank you.
Okay, so a little bit about me. Let me move this around. Okay, so a little bit about me. So again, if you would please mute yourself and use the chat feature to ask questions. I am counseling faculty here at GCC. I teach CPD 150 strategies for college success, and I also see students for one-on-one sessions regarding personal, career, and academic concerns. I want to share with you a little bit about my background. I have a bachelor's in international business in Spanish, and I also have a master's in counseling. So 5 years into my bachelor's degree in the finance industry, I decided to do a 180 degree turn, and I went back and I got my master's in counseling from ASU. So the question is, what happened? And you may be wondering that, and you probably know already people in your life who changed the career drastically. They started with something and then ended up something different, or maybe you've heard stories about that. And that is very relevant in today's topic. So I'll share more with you later on in the webinar. Stay tuned. Okay, so what I want to start off is with you and why you're here in this webinar. And so my hope is that by the end of the webinar, you will be able to, number one, connect with why it's important to connect with your why, the why before the how you can begin identifying who you are in the process of career exploration, and 3, next action steps to continue exploring your process. So let's start with, what do you want to do in your life? And now, what is your purpose for being here at GCC? Why are you here? Ask yourself those questions. Why am I here? What do I hope to get out of these experiences in college? Your answer might be something like, you're here because you hope that this would lead to something better, that you want to do something with your life, and you feel like college is a way to accomplish this. And yes, that can be very much true. And maybe you already have a career in mind, or maybe you're undecided altogether, or have doubts about what you have chosen so far. So, and if so, this is the webinar for you. Also, I wanted to just kind of create an image for you. Very rarely when we get in a car, do we not have a destination in mind? Very rarely we don't have anywhere to go. Usually we do, right? When we get in a car, we say, okay, this is where I want to go. And the car serves a purpose. The purpose of the car is to get us there. Well, in life, what happens is when we don't know where we're going, we feel lost. We can feel very unmotivated. And it's with good reason. If you don't know why you're here or what purpose this is supposed to serve in your life, then you can feel very lost. So let's connect with the why. Let's connect deeper into why you're here. Connect with your purpose, and the motivation will come. Now, the 10 beautiful questions, that's part of the activity we're going to do. And the idea behind that is that when you ask really thoughtful, beautiful questions, you're able to then get the answers that you really need. So Skip Downing says the quality of your questions determines the quality of your answers, and the quality of your answers determines the quality of your life. So as you're answering these next 10 questions, answer as much as you can, write as much as you can. I'm going to be giving you, and let me move on to the next slide because these are the instructions. I'm going to be giving you 30 seconds per question. Write only your answer, not the question, just respond. One answer per paper, so you have 10 total. For questions that are compounded, that there's just more than one part to it, choose to answer one of the questions or answer all of the parts. And most importantly, answer honestly, quickly, from your heart. And it should be focused on you, not what others expect from you. So I'm going to set the timer, right? Get your paper ready, your pencil and pen, and I'm going to get into the timer in my cell phone. And so you'll have 30 seconds. Are you ready? Okay, so here we go. What's always on your mind? What do you think about a lot? If you were in the computer or the internet, what would you spend your time reading or searching for the most? Question number 2. What positive things do people say about you? What do people thank you for the most? Question number 3. Who inspires you? Who would you most like to be like? Who are your heroes, your role models? Question number 4. What do you help with that seems natural or easy for you? What do people come to you for? When you are at your best, what does it look like? Question number 5. What are you amazing at doing? It can be work related, it can be life related. What are you great at? What do you do particularly well? Question number 6. When do you feel energized, passionate, free, incredibly useful, excited, and or inspired? Question number 7. Who do you want to help? Who would you like to inspire? Whose lives would you like to change? Question number 8. If you had a chance to be known for something special or unique, what would it be? How do you feel you contribute or could contribute to society? Question number 9. How would you like to be seen, recognized, acknowledged, awarded, praised, now or in the future? What's the legacy you want to leave behind? If you were to die tomorrow, what would you want people to say about you? And finally, the last question, number 10. Ready for this one? What is your biggest fear? What is that thing that scares you the most? Out with it. All right, time's up. The last one is pretty scary. So what I like you to do now is I am inviting you to organize your responses in front of you. Put them in front of you. Look at the connections. Look at if there are any connections between your responses. Gather the answers that are similar next to each other. Rearrange them. Place the answers, like if there are any words that came up often or similar words that you said often together in your answers, put them next to each other. Take some time to do that right now. Right, so we are ready for the next step, which is writing down your findings. Dr. Janeth Franklin has already posted that in the chat. The link of the Padlet is in the chat. And I'd like to invite you to do a quick reflection on what patterns you see in your responses. What resonates the most with you? What surprised you? What did you already know about yourself? What's important to you? So any similar words or anything that came up often in your answers, now's the time to share in the Padlet briefly what you found. Right, so we're having some comments that we're seeing right here in patterns and observations for the 10 beautiful answers. I see that someone is compassionate and they like to help people and serving those in need. Music, listening, being helpful to others. Success, creativity, and generosity. Being alone or afraid of failure is a fear. Being sweet, kind, and genuine, that's what people say about you. Any others? Finding positive in everything and everyone. Very well. Thank you for sharing. We're going to go on to discuss about first of all, let me ask you this question. With these 10 questions, you should know what you should do now. By answering these 10 questions, now you know what career you want. No, not at all. This is barely the tip of the iceberg. This is us getting started. Now comes but this is a great introduction for what's to come. So Donald Super's self-concept theory. This theory has been used since the 1980s for a good reason. It's about knowing thyself first, going inwards before going outwards and looking at the world of work and the careers that are available. Some people do it the opposite way. They try to find, what's going to make good money or what's going to get them stability. And maybe that's part of their values, but it's one part of many pieces. So knowing thyself, the idea of going inwards before you go outwards. And also super self-concept theory is about that there are changes that happens throughout your life. Things that evolve and change. Your values may change, your interests. So these are all the components about yourself: values, interests, personality, skills, and strengths. And each one has really good, beautiful questions within themselves, like values. What's important to you? What would you fight for, sacrifice for? What do you value in your life that you need to have, and that a career that matches those values is also important. Interests, your interests, what you genuinely can spend hours learning about, and time just flies. Personality is more like the traits within yourself that you have. Personality doesn't change very much throughout your life, but it's important to know what those traits are that you have. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? And we have a personality assessment here at the counseling department called the Myers-Briggs, which assesses 16 different personality types. And then at the end of the assessment, it links some careers that match those personalities. Skills, your skill sets, that's what college is for. That's what you're here to do. But it's also good to have a skills inventory to assess what current skills you have and what skills you may want to develop. The strengths is something that has been added as of late, but it is a combination. Your strengths are a combination of like your personality, your interest, a little bit of your skills. But basically, when you feel the most energized is when you're using your strengths. So we have an assessment for each one of these different components of the self-concept theory of yourself. And this is a great way to start for career exploration, to find the career that fits you rather than you trying to put yourself and fit yourself in a career. So we're moving on to the next slide. And this in the next slide is where you're going to look outward. Okay, this is the next step. After you have looked inward and you looked at these different components of yourself, now you're going to see the world with different eyes, let me tell you. When you're looking through that magnifying glass, you're going to see something different that you didn't see there before. What do I mean by this? Because now is the time where you're going to use all the things you learned about yourself, and then you're going to look at careers that match your VIPs, right? You're going to look at those careers and you're going to be looking for, okay, where is a good match? Does it match my values, my interests, my personality, or my skills? Where is the match here? Does it match 3 or 4 areas? Let me give you an example. I had a student one time that came in and said, I don't know what I want to do. And so we did the assessments. We did values, interests, personality, skills. We had plenty of conversations about what her strengths were and her personality and all of that. And what kept coming up for her was teaching. And she says, yeah, but I don't want to do that. And I said, oh, you don't like teaching at all? And she goes, no, I love teaching. I'm passionate about it. I enjoy it. I'm the one that creates study groups in my classes because I know how to break down a concept. It just fit her so well. And I said, so what's holding you back? And she says, the money. Um, you know, money is financial security is important to me, and teachers don't make very much. And so that was her big concern. And I said, okay, let's do some research. So upon the research, she came to discover that because she wanted to do a master's, she wanted to get to her master's degree. And we looked at what was the salary for a teacher with a master's degree. And she looked at that and she said, wait a minute, this isn't so bad. Excuse me. I don't know why I thought it was going to be much lower than this. I can live off of this. So it was a win-win. And see, like I said, the magnifying glass, you see it with different eyes once you actually take the time to look at your VIPs first. Excuse me. So again, Super's concept is about lifelong learning, that the idea that your VIPs can change throughout time, and they do. And this is what college is for. Right now is the time for you to try new things, because when you try new things, you develop interests that you never knew you had, or you deepen your interests. There's a saying that says that life happens at the edge of your comfort zone, and I completely agree with that. So it's so important for you to learn new things, to try new things. Now is the time for you to build new skills, and the new skills that I'm talking about are soft skills and hard skills. So like computer classes, for example, are technical skills, but also communication classes, the ability to be able to communicate with another human being, to be able to write effectively. All of those are skill building things that you're going to need in the world of work. And then informational interviews, job shadows, internships, those 3 things is how you test drive a career. I'm telling you, when you are out there and you're like, does this career really fit me? I mean, I've done some of the research, I looked into my VIPs, but does this career really fit me? If you want to know, can you please mute your mic? Thank you. So the careers, does it really fit you? How does it fit me? So informational interviews, job shadows, internships. And then the last one I want to bring out is seeking out mentors. So with me today is Dr. Janeth Franklin. She was my mentor before she even knew she was my mentor. That was 10 years ago when I started with this career. And I saw her present in workshops at Paradise Valley. She did a workshop on mindset. She did a workshop on brainology. And her enthusiasm, her energy, she inspired me in so many ways that I asked her to be my mentor 5 years ago. And she's here with us today. Janeth, are you there?
I'm here. Glad to be here. Hi, everyone.
So Janeth, do you remember those times in the workshops when I went to your workshops? Do you remember me back then?
I do remember her. She was the one jumping up and down and all excited about what she's going to do and how she's going to be able to do it, and had a million questions.
Yeah, and then the friendship that we've made since then, and the learning that has occurred between us. It's just been amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to the next thing is here's what I like you to ask yourself. What do you want to do with your life? What do you want your life to look like? How do you want it to be? Because this is your chance, right? This is your chance to look inwards and then outwards, and then create that life how it is that you want it to look like. I mentioned in the beginning that I did a bachelor's degree in international business and Spanish. So picture me 5 years, 5 years after graduating from college and in the finance industry. And I had my application ready for the master's program that I was going to do at a business school. And I had invested a lot of time and energy in that direction. And there was something that I was just unsatisfied. I was unfulfilled with the work I was doing. And I was really good at it, but I didn't enjoy it. Have you ever been good at something that you don't enjoy particularly, but other people think you do it so well, so they always give it to you to do? Well, that was me. Um, and I found myself at the library, and I picked a random book that is called I Could Do Anything If I Only Knew What It Was. Yeah, there is such a title to a book. And in the book, it's by this psychologist. She's talking about going inwards, looking inside and looking at all of the different concepts about yourself. So the super theory. And so I found myself then coming here at GCC in 2006 and meeting with a counselor. And she was the one that told me, you have also a values conflict. So it doesn't match your personality. There's a values conflict there. And it was so wonderful to be able to, it was like, finally, I was trying to see where it is that my purpose really was, where am I, where do I fit in this world? And then I also met with somebody at Estrella Mountain Community College, and I did the informational interview, and she allowed me to job shadow to go into her class. It was wonderful, and so here I am today with the Master's of Counseling, and before you. So everything that I have said so far, I have done myself. That's how I know that you can make an informed decision when it comes to careers. Okay, it is scary. It is very scary, especially if you've already invested a lot of time, if you're already going in one direction and now you're double thinking it, or you're barely starting. It is scary. But you know what's even scarier? It's regret. The regret, like I should have, could have, would have, right? So that that is uh, that is what we're here for today. And I want to give you some very concrete next action steps. If you're ready to start right now, to really dive deep into your VIPs and the career exploration process, here's what you can do. Number one is continue the conversation. Share with your discoveries from the 10 answers to the 10 beautiful questions. Share those things with your family, with your friends. I also would like to welcome you to register next semester for a career exploration course here at GCC, CPD 150 AC. It's a 1-credit class, and it's designed for you to explore the VIPs and explore your careers. And then also the class that I teach, Strategies for College Success, I must talk about it because we spend 2 weeks in career exploration, but then we also integrate the other components about yourself that are important, and they're all interrelated. We have motivation, we have self-management, we have growth mindsets, we talk about emotional intelligence. They're all complement each other, and so this course is built for you. And then number 3, you're welcome to come and make an appointment with counseling faculty. Schedule an appointment, come see us. And 4, dive deeper, expand your knowledge. There's 2 books that I recommend. Do What You Are. It's a personality book, really good. It discusses the Myers-Briggs. And then What Color is Your Parachute by Richard Bowles, also an excellent book. Also begins with skills and interests and things like that. And then it goes into preparing for a job interview and so forth. And I need to mention Bill Johnson because he's the inspiration for this webinar, the Dream Dean. And there's the link to his website. All right, I'm going to pause right now to ask you what questions you have right now. What questions do you have now? So all new learning leads to new questions. So what are the questions that you have as of right now? Please put that in the chat. And then Dr. Janeth Franklin will start reading them. I have one question as you guys are typing. I have one question that comes up very often, and the question that I get is, what happens when I choose something and it is what I thought it was, what I wanted, at that time, maybe it matched my VIPs, but it no longer matches me. I am no longer happy where I'm at. What do I do then? And then my answer is for that. To see where the origin of where the source of your unhappiness lies. Is it because of the work environment itself? Maybe the career still matches your VIPs, but the work environment does not. And so that's where I would start, as well as reassessing where you're at with your VIPs, with your values, your interest, personality, and strengths and skills. Any other questions?
Looks like people need more time to think about those questions. And we want to let you all know that you are certainly welcome to email Aracely and let her know if you have any other questions or any concerns, or come by the counseling center and ask for her. And she can help you as you kind of digest what you've learned today, and then maybe come up with more questions as you think about it.
Yes, most definitely.
And I'm going to put her email in here so that you have it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Franklin. So far we have discussed in this webinar why it's important to connect with your why, how that can help you, how that can help motivate yourself to do well in school even, how you can begin identifying who you are for the career exploration process, and then what are next action steps to continue exploring that process. So I have a question for you, and the question is, what do you know now about your why? What is one thing that you have learned, or what will you take away from this webinar? And then the bonus question is, what is one thing you're going to do? And please type that in your chat as well. Thank you.
So someone was asking, what do you do when you've studied and you know what did you want, but then you don't get a job for that? And that's a good question and thought, because that happens, I think, to most people at some point or another in their lives. And that's one of the reasons that actually putting in the time and effort to think about these things and really think about them over time, as well as coming in and talking to the counselors, is really helpful because it can open up doors to opportunities for careers that in the areas that you're interested in that you might not even known existed.
That's correct. That's right. And it happened to me too. When I graduated from the Masters of Counseling program, I already knew this beforehand with the research that I did, that it was very hard to get in as a full-time counseling faculty because there are so many applicants and so few positions. So I knew that ahead of time. I was willing to make that sacrifice and still go to school because I knew that this is what I wanted to do. And then I put in my time and I worked part-time. So sometimes people have to get to know you. You know, that book I recommended, What Color is Your Parachute? It talks about finding a job and getting in through the back door, because everybody's trying to get in through the front door. And the front door is replying to positions that are already open. And the back door is applying to positions that are not yet open. And you may be wondering, well, how do I know what those positions are if they're not even advertised? And that book discusses that as well and gives you great insight into how to go about doing that.
Here's another question. What if you have big dreams, but those dreams seem impossible to reach or they seem too far away to get? How do you keep the motivation or inspiration to create the small why?
Oh. What are your thoughts on this, Janeth?
Well, I think that probably for all of our dreams, they're way too big for us right now. But if we begin to recognize the steps that it's going to take, and we just take the first step and keep our eyes on that first step, and then the next step, and then the next step, before we know it, we'll be there. I remember
Yes.
when I was doing my doctorate, and it was 5 years. I was in my 50s, 5 years. And it was one day at a time, literally. And eventually one day, you know, you're standing at graduation, very grateful.
Yes, yes. I can recall the same thing. And it can be scary. Remember when I said that it can feel really scary at first because you see a long path ahead of you. But keeping what Jana said in mind, one foot in front of the other and taking it step by step. And before you know it, you will see that you're there and you won't even realize how you even got there. But I think creating a plan of action is very important. And that's something that we can help you with as well. When you make a counseling appointment, come and see me and we can draft a plan so that it doesn't feel like you're doing it by yourself. And that's where mentors come in. That's where mentors come in because they really help you see what you need to do next. Okay, very well. We're going to move on. I want to also encourage you to continue to ask these questions. Janeth Dr. Franklin has also put in there my contact information via chat. You're free to email me if you have any further questions. You're free to make an appointment. We have, I believe, 8 or 9 counselors available for you to come and make an appointment to dive deeper into your VIBs, to take assessments, all of those things. And here are our upcoming workshops. So we have 5 that are going to come in the next 5 weeks. If you want more information, please go onto our website under counseling workshops, and you'll be able to get more details about each one of these workshops. Yeah. So what are any final comments that you may have? Comments or questions that you may that is in your mind now? Remember, all new learning leads to new questions. So you might have one now. Okay, so what I'm going to do as well is submit the PDF of this presentation to you via the chat room. So I'm going to go ahead now and upload that. And I will also like to ask those students who are here for extra credit to please put your full name, your instructor's name, or the program that you're getting extra credit for, and I will follow up and verify that you were here. Go ahead and put that in the chat, if you may. And I am now sending the webinar slides to you. It's downloading, so you're able to have that for future reference. We would love to see you here at the counseling department, and feel free to reach out to me as well. Any questions, we're here to help. Keep growing, keep learning, and keep sharing. That's what I want to leave you with.
And keep dreaming.
And keep dreaming. And the students are still writing down who they're here for and what they're doing. So we're going to end with this inspiring music in the end, and you can continue to download the PDF or write your name for extra credit if that's what you were here for, and continue to write your questions. Thank you. Thank you for coming. We hope to see you in the next upcoming workshops.